Fags, welcome. How's the weekend off treated you?
Yep, thanks for having me. It was a good weekend. We had a good training run on Saturday. Our reserves played Saturday night, and yesterday was Father's Day, so Lady Ursula looked after me pretty well.
Yeah, you look nice and relaxed and calm. I mean, are you feeling or acknowledging that this is your best chance?
Yeah, I think we have to. I mean, that group of young players that started playing finals 3 or 4 years ago, guys like McCluggage and Barry Starcevich, Bailey, Rayner, they're all mature AFL players now into their 6th and 7th years. So I think with the improvement and maturity of those guys and the men that we've recruited to the club, I think this is our best opportunity without doubt. And look, we won 17 games this year, which is the best we've ever done. So, the ladder doesn't lie, I don't think.
Fags, have you revisited the past finals campaigns? There's been some great victories, including Melbourne at the MCG last year, but also some disappointments. Do you revisit what's happened over the previous 3 or 4 finals campaigns?
Yeah, I think you look at it in a holistic sort of way, Brownie, just to say, well, look, we've had 9 opportunities over the last 4 years and we've saluted in 3 of them, but weren't able to win 6 other finals, and some very close losses as well that sort of kept us out of prelims. So, yeah, I think you do. You talk about that. You face up to it. You talk about the lessons that you've learned and understand that these opportunities don't keep coming along. So our players are really clear on that and very keen to do as well as we can this year.
Fags, you mentioned the young batch from 3 or 4 years ago, but you've got another young batch this year in Coleman, Wilmot, Kennedy as off the wing, who's giving you a lot of run and dash. And it seems to me you've used their assets to be able to move the ball a bit faster out of your back half and still maintain that dangerous high-scoring game that you've had for quite a while now.
Yeah, I agree with that, Bucks. I think at times in the past we've probably just been a little bit slow in defence, and the way that half-forwards have evolved over the past few years with their running capacity, the half-backers have needed to move along with that. So, yeah, the addition of Wilmot and Coleman and Jasper Fletcher have really helped in that regard, and I think we're a better all-round team because of it.
And one of the star young blokes, unfortunately, we lost was Will Ashcroft, Fags. How did the group cope with that? Because it seemed to be maybe a lull there for a couple of weeks, certainly some challenges thrown towards the match committee in regards to what the personnel was, or best personnel going forward was going to be in that centre square.
Yeah, it was definitely a blow, Brownie. He's had an exceptional first 18 games to his career, and it's not an easy thing to do when you're a young bloke, but he was in amongst the first players picked each week. So good was his form. So, yeah, it took us a little while to adapt. I think we have now. We've used a collection of players to make up for the fact that Will's not playing. And so I think we're quite settled now. But, yeah, it's a pity that he's not going to get that opportunity to play in a final series, which I know he was so much looking forward to. And guys like him, they crave those opportunities to test themselves against the best at the important time of the year. But hopefully we can stay a good team for a while and he'll get some opportunities down the track.
Heartache in footy, you'd know as well as anyone. You've been around the game for such a long time. Great article you did in the News Corp papers on the weekend with Jay Clark, and you alluded to the fact that Neil Danaher, who gave you your start at AFL level at Melbourne, is someone who's very much at the forefront of your thinking. You got all the beanies up in your office, which I loved. Marcus Adams, we saw you talk on behalf of Marcus and the heartache there. You got Daniel Rich, one of the great servants. I mean, there's an emotional element to you and the way you go about it. Can you give us an insight?
Yeah, look, sometimes I wish there wasn't, Gary, but that's just who I am as a person, I suppose. I feel for people, and I've been fortunate to walk with some great people that I've worked with, and Neil, Neil gave me my opportunity in AFL footy. You were there at Melbourne when I first started, and he gave me a lot of confidence over the years that I could do various roles. So I'm you know, entirely grateful to him. Marcus Adams, well, that's just a sad story. I mean, the guy loves playing footy and, you know, has a collision in a game and gets a pretty severe concussion and can't play again. And, you know, Marcus Adams is one of those guys that when he came to our club, I think he showed all the other boys of the level of professionalism that's required in your preparation, and they all love him for that. So, you know, it was just one of those moments. And, yeah, Daniel Richards, great servant of our club, still pushing hard to get a spot in the team throughout the finals. But, you know, obviously his career's coming to an end, and all those things are hard. I mean, you feel for them. When you love the game and you know what blokes are thinking, you empathise with them, and maybe I empathise a bit too much, but that's just who I am.
Well, I don't think so, because I think it's part of what you've been able to build at a footy club that desperately needed a connection between the coaching staff and the players when you got there, and it's a credit to you. And you've had the great challenge this year, the Hawthorn situation, which, you know, we're not interested in dwelling on right now, but you spoke about that through the week as well. So in lots of ways, this has been your most challenging year, and it might end up turning out to be your very best.
Oh, well, I hope you're right, mate. Not for my sake, but for everybody at the club's sake. That will be a brilliant outcome. It has been a tough year, but, you know, a lot of people have been very supportive towards me, my family especially, and the people at my football club. And, you know, going to work every day has just been the tonic that I needed, I think, to take my mind off things. And it's been good in that regard. It's a little hard when, I guess, in a way, you're publicly shamed without any opportunity to tell your side of things. But you know, in another way, it's made me more resilient. So yeah, looking forward to the next few weeks and not thinking too much about that.
Fags, I'm sure you've lent on your leadership group, and one of the star players that you have in that group is Lucken Neal, who you were able to recruit in, has been a big part of, you know, the Lions' success in recent years. I thought that up until a couple of weeks ago that he looked like he was playing with an injury, he was playing a bit sore, wasn't quite his sharp self around stoppages, but the last 2 weeks he's just found that drive and burst out of stoppage. You must love seeing that. It's great timing coming into September.
That's right, Buck. So when he gets his fast feet moving, and which he has over the last couple of weeks, and plays with real energy, he's very difficult to stop. And it would be fair to say a few weeks back he'd been carrying an injury, so he was able to freshen up. This little break we've had now has helped him even a bit more, and you know, he's jumping out of his skin to play finals. And you know, he's such an important player for us, as are a number of other of our players, but his ability to win contested ball and clearance is exceptional, and yeah, obviously need that to win finals. So hopefully he and his midfield colleagues can produce the goods in the next few weeks.
Another important player, Fags, Joe Daniher. Has he got that TV yet, just to watch a few of these footy shows, just to get a bit of the feedback over the years, over the season?
Did he? No, he doesn't, mate. He doesn't have a television. He doesn't watch any of that stuff.
He's had an amazing year, though, Fags.
I mean, that's just Joey.
Yeah.
Oh, hasn't he? You know, he's been able to hit the scoreboard. He's been terrific for us in the ruck, especially his round the ground play. You know, his aerial contest has been strong. Probably he and Eric started a little slowly earlier in the year, but they've been really good for us as the year's gone on. So, no, he's been a great acquisition to our club, Joey. He's a different person. He's a little bit laid back, but he cares deeply about the footy club and how we go, and I'm sure he's looking forward to a big September.
He actually won a TV for Man of the Match, and I think donated to a charity.
Did he?
Fags, you've...
I don't know what he did with it.
Well, he might have given it to Charlie Cameron, because he would have won a few TVs on his own and cars, etc., with his ballistic play. But I think one of the great challenges of coaching and the art is to find different ways to bring the best strengths of your players out. Now, Charlie Cameron, once again, he had probably had a little bit of a lull and was leaning on other members of the team, but the last 4 or 5 weeks, he just seemed to have found a sweet spot where he's getting out the back harder than he ever has, and seems to read the ball use off the half-back line as well as he ever has.
Yeah, so Charlie was another one. He went through a bit of a patch. You're right with that, Bucks. He again I think it was against Richmond. He might have ran into the first centre bounce, and he had a collision with I can't remember who now, and he knocked 2 of his front teeth out and actually fractured a bone just below his nose. And he did a brilliant job to keep playing, to be honest. But he's fully recovered from that now, albeit he's got to have some new teeth put in when the season's over, and that really did knock him around for a few weeks, I reckon. Just his confidence, even though he kept playing, but he's overcome that now. He's back to putting his pressure on, which is key to Charlie's performance. When he's doing that, the other things seem to fall into place. But he's certainly an excitement machine. I think he plays his 200th AFL game this weekend. He's brought a lot of joy and excitement to the Gabba since he's been at our club, and just chatting to him today, I know he's looking very much forward to the finals.
Yeah, Fags, the boys love it when I refer back to Lee Matthews and some of these sayings and influence he has on me. And you just live around the corner, you catch up regularly. Do you lean on him still for some advice and guidance?
Yeah, I do. I mean, he's been through everything as a player and as a coach, and he's been a fantastic mentor for me from the day that I arrived. You know, we pretty much catch up every week for dinner with Swanee and our wives, and we have some great football conversations, very enjoyable conversations. But Lee's he's a very practical man, and that's what I love about him. He keeps things simple, and you know, he's been a coach. I'm a coach. He's been through all the things that I'm now going through, and you know, I can ask him for advice whenever I want, which is it's an unbelievable resource to have, to be honest. And I didn't know that I'd have that when I first came up here to coach, but he's ended up being one of my great friends, and I appreciate everything that he's done for me.
Folks, you've been great with your time. I just got one question before we let you go. You've been at Hawthorn when they went through this unbelievable success. So you know what it takes, you know the sacrifice, you know you got to put your life on, all those things which I'm not acutely aware of and Bucks can probably dream of and Jonathan does. So are you super confident and convinced that's where your group are at, that they are at that stage of their footy careers where they know what needs to be done, they're going to make the sacrifice, and it is, I know it sounds dramatic, but they're prepared to put everything out there on the line to win this flag?
Yeah, I have a sense of that, Gary. You know, even in my time at Hawthorn, my first year there we won in 2008, which probably was a little bit premature, and then the next 4 years we didn't make finals in 2009, knocked out in the first week of 2010, beaten in a prelim in 11, lost a grand final in 12, and then went 3 in a row. And I'm just a great believer in all those experiences harden you and prepare you to produce your best. In September we've played 9 finals now, and I think our boys are at that stage, and I'm sensing that with them at training. I'm sensing that with them in conversations around the club. They've really matured, and they know these opportunities don't last forever. So I think they're very much looking forward to and craving the opportunity to put their best foot forward in finals, and hopefully that's what we can do. And we know there's 7 other teams trying to do the same thing, so it's tough. But yeah, we've never been in a better position, I don't think.